I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a practice sheet for you. You need to write quadratic equations from given zeros. The question is, find the quadratic equation in the form of f of x equals to ax square plus bx plus c for each set of zeros. So there are 6 parts to this, right? Let me write down here C and D. Okay, A, C, D, E and F, right? Okay, so part A is the two zeros given to you are 2 and 3. Then we have only one zero, 3 by 4. Two zeros written in fractions. And then we have radical zeros, right? Minus 5 plus minus square root 7 over 4. Minus 4 plus minus 5 square root 2 over 6. And then here we have 5 plus minus 3 square root 2 over 2. So you can copy these questions, take it as a practice test, and then you can look into my suggestions. In this video, I'll solve these simple questions, and these radical ones are slightly more complicated, so we'll take them in a different video. I'll provide you with their links. Also, I hope you remember the strategy. If we are given the zeros, we could write equation in standard form as f of x equals to x square minus sum of zeros times x plus product of zeros. Right, so this is a standard way of writing quadratic equation from given zeros, right? So what I'm trying to say here is that if I'm given zeros 2 and 3, in that case the function should be equal to x square minus sum of zeros. 2 plus 3 is how much? 5, right? So we get 5x plus product of zeros. Product is 6, so plus 6. So that should be my solution, right? Now, for some of you who do not understand this formula or who have not seen this before, for them let me explain. If these are my zeros, then really the function could be written as x minus 2 times x minus 3 in factored form. If I substitute 2 here, I'll get a 0. If I substitute 3, I get a 0. So these are two zeros for this equation. But this equation is in factored form. We want our equation in standard form. So let's expand. So if we expand, you get x times x as x squared, x times minus 3 as minus 3x, then minus 2x plus 6, right? Now you can combine these two. Do you see that? So 6 was product of these two. Do you see? When you multiply 2 and 3, you get the product. 6, that is your answer. Do you see that? What you also notice is the center term is sum of these two, right? So that is how we get our equation. So let me combine and write down the answer. X square minus 5x plus 6. It is exactly same as we found. So you can apply this strategy and write down solutions for all of them. Do you get the idea, right? So that is how you should be doing it. It is a very fast way of getting the solution. Remember, whenever you have fractions, in that case, it is better to write equation in kind of linear form without fractions, right? I should not say linear form, but without fractions. Let me show you how. So let's do part B also, and part C will be your test question. Okay, so we have only one zero here. So sum of 2 means you will add this 2 times. Product of zeros means you'll just multiply this by itself, right? So that is how you will get. But alternate way, let me show you here, is we know this is 1 0. We could also say f of x is equals to x minus 3 over 4, and since it is a quadratic equation, I should write this as a square. Do you get the idea, right? Now I could simplify this, and if I simplify, I could write this as 4x minus 3 whole square divided by 4, correct? So that is like taking common factors. As I'm saying, we could just multiply everything by 4, right? And get rid of this fraction in such a case. 4x minus 3 also gives us 0, 3 over 4, and that is double 0 since we have 2 right there on the top, correct? So if you expand this, what do you get? So forget about the fraction 4 part. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so if you expand the numerator, you get what? You get square of this term, right? 4 square x square is 16, right? So 4x square is 16. So what you get is 16x squared minus 2ab. So minus, we just multiply these two. 12 times 2 is 24, right? So we get 24x plus b square, which is 9, right? So that is what you get, right? So you could use this kind of an equation also. Of course, 1 over 4, 1 over 16 in this case is there, but you can kind of forget about it. So this equation will also have the same 0. That's the idea, right? So you could actually do it like this also, right? Or you could adopt the method which we did and then multiply everything by 16 to get your answer, right? So that is to say, you could say the function f of x is equals to x squared minus sum of these two, right? That means 2 times. That means 3 over 4 plus 3 over 4. There are 2 zeros. Think like this. 2 zeros. Do you see that? So when you add them up, you get 3 over 4. Plus 3 over 4 is 3 over 2x, right? And then we have to multiply, means square. So square will give us 9 over 16, right? Now, so that is the equation which we get using our formula. And now multiply everything by 16. So I'm just extending here. If you multiply by 16, you get 16x squared. And here if you multiply by 16, 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So minus 24x plus 9. Do you see that? So you get exactly the same equation. So you could adopt different methods of doing the same thing. Now, the question for you is combine the strategies which you have learned and adopt what you really like. Now, in this particular case, I would like you to rewrite these zeros as, you could write these zeros as, I should say minus half, and 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 over 4, right? That will give you kind of solution. So what you get, an equation, f of x, which should be equal to, let me use another ink now to solve it for you. So we could write this as f of x equals to x squared minus sum of these two. So I'm not doing the calculations for you, which you can do yourself. 7 over 4 times x plus product of these two, that is minus half times 7 over 4, right? So you get your equation. You will get 4 times 2, 8, or rather 8 as your denominator, common denominator. Multiply everything by 8. So once you do that, you get 8x squared, and when you add these, you have to multiply by 2 for common denominator. 5 minus 2 is 7 minus 2 is 5, right? And then 5, and this denominator is 4, so you'll double it, right? So you get minus 10x in this side, and when you multiply these, you get 7 times minus 1 as minus 7. So that is the expected answer, but you need to check it, right? So, well, I just did some rough work. Check. Anyway, you have understood how to find equation in standard form when you have roots like given to you, right? Now we have another set of roots where we have radicals involved. Now try this out and check my video for their solution. We'll adopt a different strategy altogether when we are dealing with such roots which involves radicals, right? So these are all real roots but in radical form. I hope you find this video interesting. Thank you and all the best.